In a valley of giants in the super welterweight division, Lubin is opting for a bout against Virgil Ortiz Jr. over Murtazaliev for not only a bigger purse, but also to raise his profile in the division. Let's talk about the proposed fight coming up. Super welterweight contender Lubin is looking to bring his record of 27 wins, 2 losses, and 19 KOs into a November 8th bout against Virgil Ortiz Jr. For Lubin, it's been a long haul trying to get back to a chance at a world title after his last loss against Sebastian Fundora in April of 2022. A hard-fought match that saw him get stopped in a situation where his face had swollen hideously and his people decided to not allow the bout to go on. In the aftermath, he has had a couple of wins, but it's been spread out over the past 2 years. It was a September 2023 victory over Jesus Ramos Jr. and a May of 2025 victory over Andreal Holmes Jr. You see, Lubin first challenged for a world title when he was 22 years of age against then unified champion Jermell Charlo, and he was stopped with an uppercut, blinded, that he didn't see very early in the fight, never even getting his chance to get warmed up. But he has since taken a lot of lumps and lessons along the way. And so when he seeks out the opportunity against Ortiz Jr., he's looking at the profile over Ortiz rather than what the challenge of someone like Murtazaliev would bring to him. Murtazaliev, excuse me. And then he stated that, "I feel like he's a savage," talking to Ring Magazine, speaking of Ortiz Jr. He says he fights and you're really gonna have to kill him. You've got to really put a beating on him. He's not gonna stop. He's strong. He has experience, even though he hasn't fought none of the champions. He has experience. And he's fought some respectable opponents. And he has a great coach in Robert Garcia. So I feel like we definitely have our hands full. Now, when you think about it, Lubin will go in against Ortiz, and Ortiz could face Jaron Boots Ennis with a victory. But Lubin is looking to crash that party. He's an experienced southpaw fighting from Orlando, Florida, and is motivated to ruin one of the most intriguing fights in boxing when he's talking about getting in with the opportunity for a chance at Jaron Ennis himself, seeing if Ennis is victorious over Isma Lima, who he is facing in his next bout. The thing that I like about Lubin is he's tenacious. He wants to try to be in against the best of the best in the division of boxing. And his fight against Fundora, people forget that he had his moments against Fundora as well, dropping the 6'6" fighter in an explosive round where he just was battling it out. But the severe swelling in his face is what stopped that fight for him. Now, I believe that Lubin, who's now 27 years of age, is more experienced and a little more headsy. So when he goes in against one of these younger fighters of today, he's going to have an opportunity to show what he has learned along the way. Will a fighter like Ortiz Jr. be able to deal with the experience that he brings? Lubin can box, but he also has a power punch, and being a southpaw, that gives him certain advantages that the common orthodox fighter doesn't have. Now, when you think about it, he's an inch taller than Ortiz Jr. and has a 4.5-inch reach advantage over him. Will they mix it up? You know, Lubin, who's now turned 30 years of age, I said 27, but he's 30, and Ortiz Jr. is 27. So Lubin is even the elder statesman in this, but that experience could prove vital if he boxes smart with good type of game plan. The one thing that I would like to see in this whole situation is for him to be able to not only just compete, but be successful. Because I do believe he was talented enough to become a world title holder, but he went into that first chance against Charlo throwing caution into the wind and allowing arrogance to precede him. And I believe that he stated that on his own accord. But having now had a chance to sit back and watch how the division has shaken out, there are so many talented fighters at super welterweight, it bogs and boggles the mind that who will be a champion a year from now. When Jermell Charlo moved up to take on Canelo Alvarez, he basically gave up the titles on that night, never returning to the division to defend any of his belts, and he's been out of the ring 2 years since. He recently has spoken about trying to get back in with these men, but fighters like Lubin, Ramos, Ortiz, now Jerron Boots Ennis, and others have stepped it up, and they are looking to round robin between one another. With 4 titles out there, the belts could easily now be scattered again, and Charlo could even be picked as an opponent for a future titleist. But for right now, Lubin is eyeing the titles for himself, and I believe he can be successful, but it's not going to be easy. He's not yet over the hill, but he's been a little bit too inactive. He's going to have to step that up. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you think Lubin's chances are against Virgil Ortiz Jr. When the fight comes around, we'll have a serious breakdown. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.